It's the same with us here at Toyota because Sakichi Toyota is the father of Toyota. When he was born to a poor family. His mother was a weaver, his dad a carpenter. And he would watch his mother weave and the labor intensiveness of it because everything was done by hand. And so he tried to figure out, what can I do to help my mother? I know some about carpentry work, and he started getting that innovative mind rushing because really he was an inventor. So he started taking some of the processes that he saw his dad in the woodworking and incorporated it in his mother's work. So he invented many different looms. The G loom was the last one that made him popular, but he also had other looms. As a matter of fact, we have the hand and foot loom in our Texas facility. There's only 2 G looms outside of Japan, and we're fortunate to have one of them here. The other one is in the British Science Museum. Okay? So when he created this, there were several things that he was wanting to do. One is he noticed as he was inventing looms that if one of those strings broke, you may not notice it till way down here. Well, then you'd have to cut the material off, and it was waste. You know Toyota doesn't like waste. So he looked at that and said, how can I get that to be better functional, that we don't have that issue? Somebody dropped their coin. So he did the Pokio. That's where the Pokios come in. So with this, he invented Pokio systems so that if any one of those threads would break, it would stop. And he could check out what the problem is. Don't we do the same thing out there on the line? If there's a problem, we stop, we get it fixed. We check out what the problem is. So we still incorporate that today in the plant. So with that Pokio system, that put this whole loom industry in a totally different field of their own. He also decided he wanted to work more on making it easier as far as threading, because this shuttle, this is a spool of thread. You can pass that around if you'd like, because that comes from Japan. We are not able to thread those. Those go back to Japan. We can make their cars, but we can't thread their shuttle. So, but anyway, this is what goes back and forth across here. So one of those shuttles in here will last about 7.5 minutes. So if that's the case, then every 7.5 minutes you have to have somebody come back over and put another shuttle in. That doesn't make sense. So he came up with this automated system so that it can continuously feed, and it scares me half to death when one of these shoots out, because it shoots out in this box and it's, you know, all of a sudden you hear that big loud bang, but that's the automated system. So now he's got an automated system, Judoka. You see a theme going here, automation with the human touch. So with this, he was able to, well, I'm gonna run before I tell you what he's able to do. How's that? Okay, so. Boy, how big the key is, man. I've never had the key fall out before, but. Got the green light. Okay, so. The shuttle's right here. If you want to walk around, you can. You can watch it because I'm going to have it operated. So the shuttle's right there. It's going to travel over there. Over there. Okay. This is before OSHA. Amazing. So that shuttle, which lasts 7.5 minutes, can make about 1 inch of material here. But it would stop if something broke. Of all those threads, it would stop, okay? So that Pokio system got the attention of other weavers in the world, especially the Platt brothers, because they were into textile also. So that got their attention, and they bought the rights to the Pokio system. I'm going to hand some of this material around because I'd like you to feel the quality of this material if I can. So he sold patent for the Pokios on his system. When he sold it, he took that money and he and his son decided to go and They were inventors. What can we do with that money? So they used that as seed money to start Toyota. Now, with that said, you'll notice the name difference. The D in the Toyota. He decided back then, you're ending up with all this stuff, aren't you? I know the process. He decided way back then when he was started the new business that he wanted to keep the name separate. Yes, that is his name, but he wanted to keep his name with the loom business and the sewing business, which it still is today. The looms are still produced, as well as sewing machines with the Toyota, his name with a D. But he decided if he's going to have a new business and all the paperwork that would be involved in how do we keep this separate, he changed the D to a T, which is 8 brush strokes in his language to make the T, and 8 is considered a lucky number. And I think that worked for him. So that's how Toyota and Toyota are still the same person, but that's how that's separated. All right? And this material, before we move on, you know how Toyota, you'll hear it all the time, and it is true, how Toyota gives back to the community. This material here, after this roll fills up, we now donate that to a group of women in Evansville that make quilts for veterans, and this is the backing for those quilts. Pretty cool, isn't it? All right, I'm going to move you right along here. Tasha's going to continue the tour.
I'm going to give you guys a quick tour, and then you guys can do these. So these ones right here are the Princeton, the Heritage, and why we chose to go here. Right behind you is a do not touch model 1979 Land Cruiser.
Oh, excuse me.